second time, back in front of the fire. And the fireplace is just a warm, comforting feeling. I like the fireplace because it is like a natural incense, and every wood has a different scent. So when the fireplace is lit, it's not necessarily about the heat, although a fireplace brings great heat to a home. It's more than that. And I say that in comparison to central heating, because you turn on the heater, it's great. Your home is heated and you're warm. Compared to the fireplace, where not only is your home is warmed, but you have that beautiful scent from the fireplace. You have that radiant heat, which is different. It's different from central heating. And you have also the glow of the flame. You have all of those other elements that make the fireplace a better option than just turning on the heater. Or at least that's how I think of a fireplace, because there's so much more than just the heat. And the heat is really good because when I lived in London, I had this space heater, but it was really, really hot. Thank you for the follow, Janice. And my favorite thing was to go put my butt over the heater till it got really hot, like the cup of your butt is like burning, but you're warm and it feels great. And then you walk away and you let your butt cool down and then you come back again. And so it's this constant circle of like standing over the heater till your butt burns. And that's when you know you're heated enough, or at least for me, because London was a different cold. Now, I don't like cold, and it's not that I don't like cold. I have gathered enough information in life to conclude that I'm best in the hot weather. I mean, I look my best, you feel your best, you know what to expect. Like, life is good. Even if you have a bad day, I can assure you, you'd rather have a bad day on a beach with 80-degree weather than have a bad day in New York in slushy, brown, yellow snow and loud sounds. Like, if you were to have the worst day in the world, it's still not that bad if you got a beach. But the London cold is like a humid, wet cold because it's constant and it's dreary and it's misty. And I had never experienced that. Central California has 4 seasons. I believe most of California has 4 seasons. The only place that doesn't is Hawaii. And I've lived a lot of places. So sometimes the thinking is California, they don't know what cold is. It gets cold. Like living in Hawaii, I can honestly say you don't know about colds in Hawaii. You do in California. And California is such a huge state that someone in San Diego has a completely different experience than Central California, like me, which is farm town. It grows the world's produce. The San Joaquin Valley is known for its produce, for its almonds and apricots and oranges, which I picked earlier on my live earlier today. And cotton and grapes and illicit drugs, but produce. And so I always was receiving and eating this delicious produce. However, someone who lives in, say, Inland Empire in Southern California doesn't have the same California experience. So do not, it's a big state. There's people that live in the mountains and it's cold with snow. But while I lived in London, the expectancy was, oh, you're from California, you're from Hollywood. Like, well, no. California is vast. However, what you learn is only key points are known about the U.S. So when I was living in London and they said, wow, oh, you're American. I'm like, yes, I am. Oh, where are you from? California. Oh, Los Angeles. I'm like, no. Hollywood. No. San Francisco. I'm like, no, no, and no. But that's like anywhere. Because if someone is from outside of Paris, you wouldn't know. You know Paris. In the country of France, most people wouldn't know other cities. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing as someone only associating France with Paris, with a person associating California with only Hollywood. And that's okay. I was there to introduce them to the farm way of life, so to speak. However, I got to this story about heating my butt over the heater and why I prefer fire compared to like central heating. Like I like both. But a fire is like a natural incense. You have the added benefit of a beautiful fire and the sounds and the popping and the cracking and just the radiant heat. So, hi, handsome. It has added benefits from turning on the heat. And having the choice of a fireplace or central heating is always great. It's a privilege. Because most don't have an option between the two. And probably it's more common that someone would heat their home with wood. It's so efficient. And I learned how to build a fire from my father. In fact, this is one of his flannels. I had told my nieces and nephews, because they were going through my dad's stuff, you got that granddaddy drip, you know, your granddaddy was fresh. And my dad loved to be outdoors. So he accompanied my sisters on their camping Girl Scout trips. And I recall a story, thank you for liking the live, handsome, of him being told not to take any food into the tent to go to sleep. And he had sunflower seeds because my dad loved his sunflower seeds. And he had his sunflower seeds in his front pocket of his shirt. And he went into his tent and went to sleep with the sunflower seeds in the front pocket of his shirt. And he was awoken in the middle of the night by a raccoon that had worked its way into the tent because it smelled the sunflower seeds in the pocket of his shirt, which they had told him do not bring any food into the tent because the animals could smell. I think my dad forgot about that. So he was awoken to a raccoon who was taking the sunflower seeds from his pocket. And that was a shock. That was a shock, as it would be. So I had said how I got kicked out of my Indian Sweat Lodge. And I have these turquoise prayer beads. Turquoise has a deep symbolism in my heart and in my life because I am Choctaw Native American. I've shared this quite a few times. I have my card. Oh, I can show you. Thank you. Why are you apologizing, Cece? Never apologize. Question why you actually had to apologize to give a compliment. There's never a space where you are doing anything wrong. So there's that. So here is my, can you see? This is my Choctaw card. And turquoise means a lot because my mother's father was Choctaw. And I only had him, and thank you for the compliment. And it is gorgeous. It is. My curls are popping. They're great. I speak affirmations into my curls. So when I put my deep conditioner in, I'm like, these are the most luscious, most defined, healthiest moisturized curls. I say that as I'm putting in my deep conditioner. So it's all of that. It's the conditioner, it's the belief, it's the intention, and it is. And okay, so my grandfather, Choctaw Native American, and I have a lot of those features. My grandfather was a very tall guy, like 6'4", 6'5", very angular features, like my nose. Snoop Dogg's nose is very Native American. There's these defined features. Big, long hands, big feet. I happily wear a size 11 shoe or 42 EU, as well as just tall, lanky, muscular. And his parents' names were on the Dawes rolls. So the Dawes rolls were the final listings of all the Native Americans in I might have been 1914. I don't, before 1940. A consensus list was made of all of the Native Americans within the U.S. And if you can locate a relative directly linked to you on that list, then you can claim your Native American ancestry, or at least with Choctaw. At least with Choctaw, every tribe is different. So I have, and I knew about some of the practices and the things that my grandfather would eat and that part of me. However, I actively sought to incorporate more of the things that would be done by that side of my lineage in my life. And my mom has a lot of turquoise because her father had turquoise, a lot of turquoise jewelry. And it has a heavy symbolism within Native tribes and just cultures around the world. So I love turquoise for that reason. Thank you, Diana Heflin, for sharing the live, and continue to like the live, Mercedes Gomez. It has a semblance to me. I feel good with it. It feels good. It's like a great feel-good stone. Plus, it looks beautiful on me. So, and turquoise always just looks beautiful. And there was a time where I would, in the morning, do the chants with the prayer beads. So there's a certain amount of prayer beads on here, and you chant in the morning with each and every single ball 3 times. And it centers you for the day. So I did that for a little bit. I do not currently. But I like the stone. And I would bring these with me on my lodges when I would go to my Indian Sweat Lodge. So living in Maui, there is a beautiful community of lots of energy workers and energy people, or just all of that connects to the land. And through Sundance, who's like my godfather of the island, he's 73, originally from Harlem, but had been living in Maui for 40 years, and used to like conduct the peyote ceremonies and like things of this nature. So he told me about the sweat lodges, and the sweat lodges are once a month. Every third Sunday of the month is the sweat lodge. And the sweat lodge consists of about 8 to 12 other people, with each half being equal to each other. So if it was 12 people, there's 6 men and there's 6 women. And these people are all significantly my senior. They're all at least 20 to 30 years my senior. So they're all in their 70s or mid 60s. 20 to 30 years my senior. So they're all been a part of these ceremonies for quite a while. Been a part of these ceremonies for quite a while, 30, 40 years. And they have been having these sweat lodges under the Lakota Indian tribe tradition for the past 20 or 30 years on the island. So it was quite an honor to be invited to the sweat lodge, because it was something I was doing to connect to my native ancestry. And I'm always open to finding another thing, because I see this content about not having a third space, and that isn't a problem unless you make it a problem. You have to go find something to do. And it's difficult sometimes. It's difficult sometimes if the only thing to do is to shop. For me, it would always be outside. So my third place, I always had a third place. This is why I chose Maui, because my third place, wherever I'm going, it's just beautiful. Or I can go for a hike, or I can journal on the beach, or that is my third place. It doesn't have to be a place filled with people. It is a thing I like to do. However, finding activities that bring something to you outside of like a club or getting drinks, or just do this often, try things often. And for this, it was the sweat lodge, because I had always heard of the sweat lodges, but I hadn't really heard anything maybe positive. It was like people pass out and die. It was almost like you don't want to try that because it may be hurtful to you. So I was invited to the sweat lodge, and it's up in Kula. So Kula is up towards the top of a volcano in Maui. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Zach, for the rose. And so it's Kula is cooler. Like it's not 80 degrees. I mean, it'll be a nice 70 or 60, but at night it will get down to the 50s, sometimes 40s. I know, I love adventures. I do. I love adventures, and you would love an adventure with me. And yes, el natro, cool lady. Yes, I jump from stories, but I will get back to the sweat lodge. My most adventurous trip was now 2 years ago with my niece in Costa Rica. And we went for the month because After being a flight attendant for 15 years, I don't go anywhere for like 3 days. I can, and it's great. But if I'm going to see a place, I want to live it. I want to experience it. I don't just want one place. I like to go to different locations. I like to chill. A lot of you don't know how to be a voyager. You know how to travel, but to travel and to be one with where you are is completely different. It really means add in rest time. Because my dad would say, you will wear yourself out. But often when people go on vacation, they just bill into their trip what they're going to do, what they're going to do, where they're going to go, where they're going to eat, you don't work in off days. You got to slot in every 2 days, like a day where I'm just chilling. Like I don't have to do anything because you burn yourself out. And when you are tired, it takes away from the enjoyment of the place. So when I say when I travel, I got to have a month, it's really like, it can be overwhelming traveling. And I've traveled over 60 countries. I've lived abroad. I've been more places than everyone in the world will ever travel to outside of anyone in aviation, because that's the only way you could travel that much. And I learned travel through my father. Authenticity. My father traveled for work. However, it's like in the 80s and 90s where it was fresh and he had a polished Coach briefcase and like polished Italian shoes and beautiful coats and like stylish travel. First flight, efficient packer, taught me how to pack. And this is the thing. I am spoiled. I loved it. I've lived a good life. I don't know about you. I've lived a good life. Okay. I don't know about nothing outside of a good life, but I found out life can be hard. And it could be hard because we were going to Maui for 2 weeks for Christmas when I was like 13. It was me, my 4 sisters, and my mom and dad, and I brought 3 suitcases. And my dad said, "What's in the 3rd suitcase?" And I said, "Dad, it's shoes. We're going to be gone for 2 weeks." What are you talking about? I have to have a bag for shoes. He was like, "No, you pack 1 bag." And I cried. I cry a lot because that's heartbreaking. At 13 years old, you're going to this idyllic Hawaiian island and your father doesn't let you bring a suitcase of shoes? How dare he? It was heartbreaking, but I quickly got over it and said, you know what, Hope, this is what we got to do. We got to focus. We got to repack. There's no way out of it. You got to accept it. And this is what we're going to do. We don't really need heels because we're going to be hiking and we're in Hawaii. So the heels can go, boom. Okay. My dad would say, always have a tennis shoe, a sports shoe, you know. Okay, got that. Always have a sandal. Typically, you want a flip-flop like for the beach and then a nice sandal so you can wear that with a dress. Thank you. I do. Thank you. Okay, here are the shoes when you travel. Ideally, if you're going somewhere warm, you want just a sandal. Now, if you want a nice sandal and a nice sandal, fine. But you want a sandal, you want like a nice casual shoe, and realistically, you're not going to wear a heel. You think you are, unless you're somewhere great. But most of you guys aren't going like to exceptional places. You're going to like Cancun or Florida or something. You're not going to like Monaco or Seychelles. So leave your heels. You don't need that. Especially Americans, you don't know how to dress anyway. So a nice flat sandal is enough. That's all you need. You don't need the heel and the maybe if I go to this place. The maybes, don't bring them. And I know this because I was taught to pack. And from that one time when my dad's like, you can't take a whole suitcase full of shoes, I learned to be efficient. And I packed one suitcase, and then I perfected it being a flight attendant. I don't know, Zach. I don't know. So people overpack. And you overpack because of the lack of, you include the maybe. And when you're traveling, never take the maybe. You take the only, like, okay, one black dress. You always have a black dress that you could wear during the day. You could wear it at night. You could put a blazer over it, dress it up with some jewelry, a nice sandal, but you only need that black dress. A black dress you can always work with. You don't need 15 other dresses that you maybe could choose. When you're traveling, you have to cut yourself down to, this is what I will wear. Because if you allow, this is what I could wear if I have the option, you overpack. What you need is a bunch of underwear. This is if you're going to islands. A bikini, some shorts, a sundress, and that's it. Really, that's it. That's it. And I've had to teach this to my nieces because I'm not helping you with your suitcase. Well, no, I will. And flight attendants will help you with your suitcase because sometimes it's been said that flight attendants don't. We do. I do. I like to help you put it up. But it's almost like in life. To know what's important easily cuts out everything else that's not important. When you know this is what I need, there's not even the option of maybe. I know I need this. I know I need these workout shoes. Even keeping the option of, well, an additional workout shoe in another color is not necessary because I have what I need. And knowing that cuts out everything you don't need. It's like, wonderful. Everywhere is wonderful to travel. There's nothing that I did not enjoy in any space that I've ever traveled. Spain, I went to after I came from Dakar, Senegal, I think the first time. I took, it might have been TAP Portugal or one of the Spanish carriers, but I took that from Dakar, Senegal directly to Madrid because I said, I can just go over because it's right over the water from West Africa. It's like not a long flight at all. And I went to Madrid by myself for maybe 10 days. All I know is it was lovely. And I love to vintage shop. I love to thrift shop. So I went thrift shopping and I love Spanish tailoring. Spanish tailoring is beautiful and delicate and well made. And I remember I bought suits. There was a time where I loved wearing suits. I still love wearing a suit because the way that you are received and treated is fantastic. Wear a suit just to see how people respond. However, I bought suits and blazers because there's meticulous tailoring in Spain. It's meticulous. Americans don't even know tailoring, so it looks terrible. It's boxy. It doesn't fit. It's slouchy. I mean, you know an American because they look distinctly American. However, Spanish tailoring, like French tailoring or Portuguese tailoring or Italian tailoring, is built into the culture. So it's not something that is just, I go buy a jacket. It's known from as a child because someone may be a tailor, someone may be a shoemaker. You learn about leather making, you learn about textiles and fabric as a child in school or from someone in your family. It's a part of the culture. So it's respected as such, and dressing is seen as that. And so when I say Americans don't have that, it's just not a part of the dominant culture. And yeah, you can tell what it's an American. So that's what I love. There's many aspects about Spain. I loved that. Always loved thrift shopping everywhere, but abroad. And also, this was when I was in Madrid. You have your coffee or your hot chocolate with your melted chocolate, and you dip your churros in it, and it's delicious. It's absolutely divine. So I learned packing from my father. I continued, we traveled a lot as a family. My father loved the outdoors, so we were always going to places like, I've been to Yosemite hundreds of times. It was my backyard as a child, and I'm so happy because of it, because it's such a magical place. And Yosemite, which is right outside of Merced, California, which to me is a small town. It's where I was born. Merced, California, when I was born, which is in the 80s, was not many people. I mean, I think it was less than 30,000 people. It might have been 20,000 people. It was these offshoots of farm towns. However, my mother is from Merced, and this is the daughter of my grandfather, who is the Choctaw Native American man. So we would go to Yosemite because my father loves the outdoors. My father is from LA, and he always wanted to get away from LA. He was like, because of LA, this is why I like to be outside. And actually outside of LA, less than an hour, you have hikes and you have trails and you have streams and you have rivers, and my dad would do that. So he showed his girls the same thing. So we would go to Yosemite. There's Half Dome and there's General Sherman tree, I think. But it's beautiful, and there's beautiful meadows with these like idyllic flowers and lakes, and we would go fishing. My father loves to fish. So we would fish, and he would show me how to scale the fish and how to perfectly cut the fish and debone the fish. What's up, Black Wolf? And to fillet the fish and what you can throw back, and if it's too small, you throw it back. I learned all of this. I know how to do this. Now, I don't do it now. I would. I haven't. I would do it. It was best when my dad did it, though. I like watching. So Yosemite we had been to several times, as well as there's a lot of natural monuments and places in the state of California. And thank you, Tita Nisha Bridges, for the follow, and throughout the U.S. We went to Old Faithful, and we took this beautiful road trip to Montana and to Old Faithful and to the Grand Teton mountain range, which is such a beautiful place in the United States. And I had shared this with someone. They had asked me, where are your top places? And first of all, don't limit me. The world is too big to limit it to 3. And I've seen so much of it, because as a flight attendant, that was really, to understand it is like wild, because I was always somewhere. However, there's so many natural places within the U.S. that are stunning. Yes, there's the Alps, and there's the Dolomites and the Italian mountain range and the Black Forest in Germany, and all of these places are equally as beautiful. And I always remembered how much I loved the beauty of Wyoming. And so my dad was like Kanye 20 years ago. Yeah, we went to the Grand Canyon because my dad, as like a 20-year-old, he hiked the Grand Canyon on a donkey, and went all the way down to the bottom and camped out. So I had suggested to my sisters that we go back, because when I was there, I was a teenager. So it was like 30 years ago. And it was all because my dad loved the outdoors. So Grand Tetons, Old Faithful, absolutely beautiful. And Google it, because the Grand Tetons are beautiful. It's a beautiful mountain range. Wyoming is beautiful. Old Faithful is beautiful. Yellowstone, we went to Yellowstone, absolutely beautiful. And I also went to Yellowstone on a layover. The Hertz Castle. My family just went last year. Again, I remember going as a kid because you can easily take road trips. And as a traveler, don't discount a road trip. It does not have to always be on a plane. To travel means just to move from where you are. To move from where you are. And we would drive to San Simeon, to the Hertz Castle. I am Native American. I get to visit one every day, Zach Dario. You're visiting one now. Now. You're welcome. I am her. She is me. I am. Okay, I already had, I'm a Choctaw Native American. So I started this off with, that's my card. I guess, you know, I'm legal. I'm a legal Native American. You see my legal, isn't that ridiculous? I'm a legal. So anyway, oh, wait a minute. And what's really beautiful, I'm going to like, this is the most beautiful driver's license. And this is way before I cut off my big poof. But the Hawaii driver's license is one of the most beautiful driver's license in the U.S. So that's another thing that's beautiful about the U.S. Grand Teton, San Simeon, Hertz Castle. Yes, did the Grand Canyon. Yes, did all of this stuff. Because my dad loved the outdoors. And I got to this to say that that's where I learned the art of travel and the art of packing. I am. And I'm only wise because I don't care. And I say that because my parents would say she actually doesn't. And I don't. So I have to figure it out. So I'm not listening to you. I have what it takes and I'll figure it out. However, I trust that I will figure it out. I don't say, oh, why does this happen to me? No, Hope, you're here. Figure it out. I have everything it takes. I'll figure it out. I've figured it out before. I'll figure it out again. I have what it takes. I have everything within me now to figure it out. And I always do. And you do too. There is no difference. The only difference is I've lived a colorful life. I put myself into some situations, but I was taught to believe in myself. And that's all it comes down to. I mean, I got this from this thrift store and I have to show you the back because it's from the show Insecure from the last season. And I had my father's send-off last Saturday, and I stopped saying funeral because my dad would say people are wimps and people are idiots. The assumption is a funeral is a sad, melancholy, negative thing. And so even to share that word, like I went to a funeral, it the receiver is in a state. I won't say negative or positive. They're feeling a state already once they hear the word funeral. So I started saying send-off because that's what it was. It was, my father was me. He talked, he brought people together. He was the good guy. He always would make you laugh. And so that's what was felt. It was such an uplifting day. It was so many smiles and laughter and me as the daughter and feeling proud of that legacy and like, yeah, you did it. You fulfilled what you came to do instead of the opposite. And I remember in the morning doing a nice deep meditation and preparing myself for the day. And I journaled like, I am the beauty of the day. This is the best day of my life. Every day is the best day of my life. And it's the best day of my life because I say it is. Even if that is my dad's funeral. And I'm allowed to feel what I feel, and this is the best day because I say it. It's not the reverse. And the joy and the happiness of seeing really people celebrate just you showing up as you. So I strive for that, but I just do what I want to do. So when I'm talking like this, it's the same as when I told my parents I wanted to leave school to chart out my own way in life. They were like, okay, sure, we're here for you. And now you got to pay for your insurance, and now you got to pay for your own gas. And I was like, okay, cool. It's not, no, but you should know, this is what I've chosen to do. I'll work it out. I don't want to be here. I want to travel. Okay, let me think of ways. Could I work at a resort? Is there a job I could do? Flight attendant. Yes. I've always loved to travel. And then I can see the world, and I have a 401k, and I have my dental benefits because I have beautiful teeth and they ain't going to waste. Okay. I don't want to move somewhere and have to like hustle to figure it out, but not have health insurance. If you're in the US, you got to think about that. And unfortunately, this is something that will change. It's not even that it has to change, it will. Because in the US, your health is tied to your employment, and it's incredibly unsafe because it brings a fear, and it's changing. However, I thought diligently, what can I do that I love? Because I've never done anything I don't love. But if it's a job, it means I have to do it, and I have to do it often. I'm not going to choose something I don't love with anything I do. When I did makeup, I loved makeup until I realized I don't want to take this any further. I've exceeded. I was beyond department store. I was working for the actual brand. I was traveling through the state of California as a featured makeup artist. And I said, this is great. And it is fun. And I enjoy what I've learned because it's also learning. I learned artistry beyond sales, because it is sales, and I'm exceptional at sales. However, taking care of one's skin and understanding ingredients and reading ingredients and knowing these legacy brands and understanding that there's the business side aside from the beauty side and all of that. And really stopping and saying, do I want to continue pursuing this for my life? I was like 19 or something and making $54 an hour. But it didn't even, that was still great. And I loved doing it. But it was the real thought of, let me sit and really think, do I want this to define me? Like, do I want to continue mastering this craft? And the simple answer was no. Okay, then what's next? What do I want to do? And I shared that from the simple choice of making a decision. Because sometimes in life, it just seems that it's difficult to make that type of life decision. And when I say I don't care, it's because I care enough about the choices that I've made that anyone else's response of a choice that I've made that has nothing to do with me. I'm confident with my life and what I've built in my life. I haven't done anything because my parents want me to do it, or somebody wanted me to do it, or it would impress someone. It's all in my choosing. I don't walk, I only walk in courage. So there is no fear. And fear is always around. I just don't stop. That is the only difference. So what? Yes, fear is there to keep you safe. It's normal and it's expected. And the more that you go towards things that are uncomfortable, it's somewhat not accustomed to, but it's understood. Plus, I'm not afraid of hard. I was built for it. I know what I want. It's not about hard. It's about that's what I want. That's what I want. That's it. Anything in between is just what's in between. I don't say I want it, but this is too hard to get around. There's this barrier. I don't even see that. I just see the end. And it's also because it's coming from me. Now, if I were to choose things because my parents want me to do it or someone else, I may not like to do the journey towards the goal. But all of this stuff I want to do. Like when I said, no, I want to move. It was a conscious choice of, I am actually looking for a career, and I'm also looking for a passion, and I'm also looking for stability that's not stable, if that makes sense, because I believe that I can always create for myself, but being drawn to aviation came from my father. He was a helicopter pilot in Vietnam. And then when he came out of Vietnam, he was a flight instructor and a pilot. And then he told me he did not want to fly commercial because it was like driving a school bus. It was like being a teacher. It was like not fun. Like if you're teaching people, it's a little different. So he chose to go a different route. But in Merced, California, when we were kids, babies, my dad would put us in the car and we would drive to the airport. And we would sit on the hood of the car and watch the planes take off and land. And you'd be like, oh, that's a 737. Look at that. Okay, that landing, that's a Boeing 747. And I was like, oh, wow. I memorized these planes. And that's where my love of aviation came from, truly from my father. He's a pilot. And I had shared on my last live, I went to get a new battery for his watch, but it's a Breitling watch, which is an aviator's watch. It's a pilot's watch. And I now have my father's Breitling. Beautiful. And I forgot, you can't just go change a Breitling watch battery. I have to have this completely serviced. And my dad would always say, it's not the initial cost of anything, it's the upkeep. And that's with anything. That's with a house. That's with an expensive watch. It's not the initial cost. Can you keep it up? Because the initial cost is a one-time cost. But that upkeep is real upkeep, and that's for the duration of the time that you have the product. And that often is not thought about when making any investment, including your partner. Sometimes you got to make an investment and you got to know this one is going to cost me, but it will be worth it. It will be worth it. Okay. Everything is some type of investment, including the person you choose. So, sure. I ride the wave or create the wave. It's either or. So, yeah, that's with my dad's watch and making a decision. So, I was a makeup artist, first for Macy's, and then I was like, this is cool. It was nice getting gratis because you would get $500 worth of product every 6 months, and you could always take testers. I mean, it was great. I was an influencer before an influencer. This was like in 2003, 2004, and that was great, and it was cool, and then I was like, okay, but I need more. And so I quit Macy's, and the actual cosmetic company came to me and said, hey, would you like to be a consultant and work for us through the different department stores in California? I was like, excellent, because now here's the thing. Y'all aren't being specific, and I tell anyone this, but specifically young people, build your life. I've never wanted a 9 to 5 because I had to work in my dad's office. By working in my dad's office, well, then it's not that that's why you didn't buy a Ferrari. You didn't have enough to buy the Ferrari. Say the truth. If you had, because trust me, when you have enough, you don't even think about it, you buy the Ferrari. That's the difference, baby. So if you're worrying about upkeep, you never had it in the first place. So I built my schedule. I was able, what's up, Danielle? I got to, listen, T, it's the truth. Listen, I learned from the best. This comes from my daddy. You don't understand. This is why it was such a celebration because, man, I'm like, thank you for everything you taught me. Ooh, okay, now, oh gosh, it's like great. So anyway, and I love a red Ferrari. I love a red convertible Ferrari. I do. So the story about that is, I told this story. This is when I lived in London. Yes. I went to this day party. It was called Bacchanal. They always had these day parties in Mayfair, in Kensington. And they would have these day parties sponsored by different champagne brands. So it would start at like noon or 2 and go to like, I don't know, 6 on a Saturday afternoon. And everyone's dressed beautifully. I mean, pulling up in all sorts of Italian-made cars because it's London. It's Mayfair. It's like beautiful. And so I lived in London for 7 years. And this was, at the time, thank you for the heart hands. At the time, I went to this day party with a beautiful girlfriend of mine who was Colombian by way of the west side of Chicago, and our other friend who was a Cape-colored girl from Cape Town, South Africa. So we had these varying shades because, you know, all my friends are beautiful and they're all from all over. So it's like a beautiful quilt of just beautifulness from everywhere. And it's lovely. So it's the South African, it's me, it's the Colombian. We're going to the day party in Mayfair, London. Sponsored by the champagne brand. It's under a white tent. There's a DJ, there's champagne, baths everywhere, but it's very nice. There's tables and chairs and then a place where people are dancing and dancing on platforms. So we were there, and while we were there, there was this really tall, cute guy. And I kind of saw him, and I was aware he was there. He was cute. But then there was this other guy. I think we had gone out to lunch once. He was kind of that typical, for me, it's typical boarding school, West African boy, went to some prestigious college. This is like somewhat normal in London. I think he was an economist, or like he worked in finance, and somehow he went to, what is the finance? What is that? The School of Economics of, oh, where is it? It's a well-known finance school on the East Coast. It's almost like London School of Economics. But anyway, he was there. And I think we had went out to lunch once. So he came up to me. He was like, "Hi, Hope." I was like, "Hey." I don't even remember his name. No, I canceled on him. That's why he came up to me. That's why I had canceled on him, because he was around, but they're always around. So he came up to me like, "Hey, Hope, how you doing? You canceled on me?" I was like, "Yeah, but I'm here now. What's up?" He's like, "Hey, so we should go out. How about we go out this week?" I said, "Okay, sure. How about Thursday? We'll go out. I won't cancel on you. I'll go out. We'll go out. Thank you, Pricky, for the follow. Okay? Nice to see you. Bye." Right? Move. Go. So he goes, and then the tall gentleman comes up to me, and we start talking. So this guy is like a former, he was in some Olympic game. I don't know. This was kind of common during my time in London. So tall, let's say 6'4", very muscular, very well defined man with a beautiful smile, beautiful teeth. He was just a gorgeous man. He was probably like, I don't know how much older than me. Anyway, so we started talking, and then he said, well, hey, let's go leave the party. I was like, okay, cool. So I always check in with my friends, and this is the thing with anyone, but especially girls. First of all, have good friends. Some of you guys don't have good friends. Your friends wouldn't check up on you anyway. But I always had great friends that would make sure I was okay, and I would check in with them like, hey, I'm leaving with, oh boy, I'm leaving. They're like, okay, bye. So they actually know. I don't just want her off. So I want her off, and the guy, let's call him the Olympian, because he was in an Olympic game. He said, oh, I need to put more change in the meter. I'll say it like him. Hope, I need to go feed the meter. I'm like, you need to feed the meter? Yeah, I need to go put more money in the meter. I'm like, all right. I don't know why I need to come. Can I just wait here? I don't know why I need to follow you to your car. That's what I was thinking. Why don't you go feed the meter and then come back? Why do I need to follow you? So anyway, I follow with him to the car, and I'm actually looking down at my phone. Yeah. Actually, what do you mean you was actually in London? I got kicked out of London. That's the next story. So as I'm on my phone, we're walking up to the car because it's not that I don't care about men. You guys are great, but you're just replaceable. So it's, there's some people that may hear the word Olympian or see a Ferrari and think, wow, that's an incentive to be around the person. No, I'm only around you if I want to be around you. And a lot of you are lame. And the reason, but not all Ferrari drivers are lame, not all. But there's a portion of people that really don't have any personality outside of what they buy, which I understand. Sometimes that's it, but that's not an incentive for at least me to be around you. You're lame. So we walk up to the car. I look up. It is like, the Ferrari is like this color because I love this color. Red heads ahead from OPI. It's my favorite color. And I think he just wanted me to see his car. Well, no, that is a sense of self. I don't think it's a complete, and I don't know. The thing is, I don't know what people think about themselves. I only know what I think I perceive about their behavior, but I don't know, and I never will. That's why I don't put energy into it. It can be both. I see the status symbol. That's cool too. I don't think any of that is anything negative. The reason why you buy it is your reason. I don't care about that. So you have it. I don't care if someone gifted it to you. I don't care if you worked 20 years or if someone said, here's 10 million, go buy what you, I don't care about that. I don't care how you receive it. It's the fact that you got it. I don't judge. It's the fact that you got it. Anyway, Ferrari, beautiful red convertible Ferrari. And he says, hey, let's go to dinner. I say, okay. He gets into the car. Now, this is probably why he should have opened my door. But I go to open the door and I swing the car door out and it scrapes on the sidewalk, like loud, like skrrr. But I have really strong arms. And I'm not really thinking. That's the thing. Again, I'm not thinking. I'm not going to push this car door hard because it's a Ferrari. To me, it's a car. And then go fix it. It wasn't like I purposely did that. But he did say, Hope, this is a Ferrari, not a Ford Fiesta. And I was like, well, are we still going to dinner? So I closed the door, which had to scrape it again. And we went to this Thai place, which was really good. And it was cool. It was cool. He was a cool dude. That was like the woman. I like to say that's the woman's dream date because he was hot, former Olympian, I guess had all of that, the Ferrari, but he owned a salon. He owned a spa. So he was like, Hope, do you mind? Would you like to go to the spa? I'm like, of course I would like. I mean, yes, that's the least I could do. Of course, of course. Of course, that's no trouble for me. That is no trouble at all to go to the spa. Of course, in fact, that's ideal. So we went to the spa, which was his. And at this spa, why? Why does that sound like a keeper, Quincy? Just because you do that? Hey, listen, they've all done great things and they haven't. I keep you until I don't want to keep you. How about that? I keep you until life shows us something different. And the real question is, can they keep me? So we went to the spa, his spa. What's that, BLS? We went to his spa, and what was beautiful and unique about it is he had a room built with 2 huge, deep soaking tubs, like these huge, like amazing, you just like could dive in, soaking tubs. So like couples could have soak in 2 huge individual tubs. Listen, it's not about, I don't even like that word, Cap. Like, I'm going to finish this story. So we go to the spa. He's like, would you like, first I think I had well, no. Okay. This is why it was a dream. First, we go into the spa and he's like, would you like to take any of the products? I'm like, would I love to take any of the products? Of course. So he gave me a little gift bag to go collect any of the candles and the lotions that the spa created. I was like, this is fantastic. And I have a to-go bag. It's like a goodie bag. Like, this keeps getting better and better. And so I had that. And then I went and had a soak in this tub with rose petals and jasmine oil and eucalyptus and like bergamot. Like, it was amazing. It was absolutely fabulous. And then I got to like cream myself up in all this beautiful new delicious smelling product. And then I had a massage. So the massage was one of those massages where they walk on your back, because he had went to live in India to learn this method of massage. So he had the hand railings on the ceiling so he could walk on your back. And the other massage therapists could use the hand railings on the ceiling. And I was like, I'm tiny. I hope you don't like smush me when you go to walk on my back, but that's why they easily distribute their weight onto those poles that are tacked onto the ceiling. So he gave me this amazing massage and was walking on my back. Possibly, yes, Scooey, yes. Is that it? I don't know. I just know it was lovely. And it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And then after it was all done, I had my to-go bag and he brought me home. I was like, thank you for the best date. Like, this is a dream date. And I have a to-go bag and I have candles and I'm all relaxed and I have the massage oils. Like, this is great. And yeah, and that's that story about the Ferrari. Or really about me scraping his door, because he did say, Hope, this is a Ferrari, not a Ford Fiesta. So there's that. And how did I get onto that? I got onto that from, someone saying, with pleasure. Someone saying they didn't buy the Ferrari because of the upkeep. No, that's not why you didn't buy it. You don't have enough. Because if you have enough, you would just buy it and not use that as the reason not to buy it. And it's okay. And anyone who is making that purchase is aware of that, but it's not an issue. And that's just the difference of understanding different worlds. Different worlds don't even have that concept of lack. Imagine not walking around with lack, having to think of the lack of money that you have. How much different would your life be if you did not have to imagine the lack of money that you don't have? Like constantly, because you do. You constantly think, I don't have enough. I have this bill. I don't like paying this bill. I'm overwhelmed. I don't have enough. Imagine how it feels to just always know that there's more than enough. What would that feel like? Can you even imagine that? Think about that. So, the natural outdoor, that would be wonderful. But the thing is, you can just feel that. When I say, if you can't imagine what that would feel like, really think like, wow, why can't I imagine what that would feel like? Thank you, Brenda Green, for the follow. Like, what's up, BWOB Cosmetics? What it do? Just think of what that would feel like. I'm not saying have it. What I'm saying is, because the reality is you have to feel it before it comes. But if you can't even imagine, because you don't even embody what that may feel like, start there. Imagine, like, how could I feel like that? What would that feel like? What would life look like? How would I feel today? Most of the things that I would worry about today, I wouldn't think about. So what would I think about? Would I be here? Where would I be? Like, it's that question, because that question starts other questions, but I believe that that's powerful. And it's always within us. I always say it's always us. It's nothing outside of us. And my TED Talk, I said, it's you. It's you. It's always been you. And you can see my TED Talk. It's, if you go in my link in bio and click, the first box is my TEDx talk that I gave in October, or you can go to YouTube and put Hope TED Talk Emergency Landing. I thought about that because you see this lightness and this fun carefreeness. It's because I never had a lack of love. And I never felt a lack. I have an imagination as well. So sometimes it's really that imagination of what would that feel like. And when I had my emergency landing on that plane that had to make an emergency landing because of the left engine failure, it allowed me to ask, what would life feel like if it was exactly how I want it to be? Because the thing is, you're going to die. That is going to happen. Imagine just accepting the fact immediately of death, which is what I did. When the captain said, Hope, we are making an emergency landing because of a left engine failure. I will call you with more information when I have more information. Click. That's it. That's it. You're in the air. Flight attendant. That's it. Imagine. Sit with that. Let me take a moment in silence for you to imagine how you would feel receiving that, being on a plane. I'll wait. And I'm a leader, and I know it. My dad built leaders. However, if you're a leader, what do you do then? You have to lead. That isn't the time to say, woe is me. How am I going to do this? I'm never going to do this. I'll never be able to do this. I'm going to fail at this. That's when you say the exact opposite. That's when you say, of course I'll do this. I have everything it takes to do this. The strength is me to do this. Of course, I'm built for this. And I remember asking a part of me, or sitting with that fact of, okay, Hope, there's a reality within the next 30 minutes that the next 30 minutes will be the final 30 minutes of this human experience of your life. Accept that. Okay, I accept that. This may be it. And okay, all right, go back into flight attendant brain. But just really accepting like, all right, if that's it, I've really lived. Like I'm 60 countries in. I have a loving family. Like it's not like I wasted away. Like this has been a good run. I've done it, but have I? Because I landed and I said, I have. Most wouldn't have these stories of when I was ran over by a motorcycle in Buenos Aires because I didn't look both ways. I didn't look both ways. And that's why I learned. Always look both ways. Or the times of me living in London and actually being fully immersed in a European system for almost 10 years, completely outside of American life. Or my ability to visit so many cultures and ways of life and just truly learn through the clouds, the skies, and travel without restriction. Because, Micah, you doing it! I'm so proud of you. Okay, everyone in my chat, Micah Da Vinci plays 7 instruments. This man is so gifted. He's the young Mike Jackson in action. He plays 7 instruments. He arranges, he composes, he's working with Dame Dash. Go download the app. I thought, what is it? Put the app in the chat. I'll pin it because I see you guys jamming out with Dame and I think it's beautiful. I'm so proud of you. There's so many incredible creators that I've met and I'm really proud of you, Micah. You guys are doing great. You, Candace, Cadence, American New app, the American New app. What's the other gentleman with the locks? I see you all. And there's another singer. Y'all are dope. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. I love it. I love it. And also that when you see greatness, you have to understand that's a reflection of you. Not they're doing great, which means I'm not doing great or they're taking away from me. No, when you shine, we shine. I shine. I want everyone to feel like they're the best at what they do. Why wouldn't I? Imagine feeling that. Like just imagine. I'm not saying do it. Just imagine what that would feel like. Because it creates an ease within your body. It creates a buffer, a calm nature because I'm not in competition. We all shine. We all have a gift. And the beauty is for each of us to highlight these things. Oh, Cadence! I love you too. And last time I saw you, you had a beautiful twist out or beautiful curls. You know, I love a curl. I love a curl. I tried to straighten my hair, but straight hair is so boring. And it is. I just think character comes in curls. Look at that. Character comes in curls. Character comes in curls. That's, yeah. And to not feel lack. Pretend to not feel lack. Start questioning why you feel lack. Start to question, when did I learn this lack? Isn't that amazing? That is a bar. You know, I just be dropping pearls of wisdom. What I say, I'm dropping the pearls of wisdom. It's up for you. It's up to you to string them together. I mean, come on. This is what I do. This is what I do. This is why I come on here and speak. Come on. Character comes in curls, baby. Come on, come on, come on. And it does. I've always loved, I've had my hair in every way. Oh, do you want to see here? I'll let you into some of the home life of Hope. So this is me. This is my sister Faith. This is my oldest sister, Priscilla. Look at baby Hope with her barrette. You see we had our little bows and everything. And then there's a lot of people, especially from like the 90s and 80s, we all had these pictures. We all had these pictures where, you know, you pose one way and then you pose the other way. So I have my look at my hair. It's the same way. It's the same way. That's a little insight, and 70s too. Yeah, we had those pictures with character. We have a lot of character. And, let me show you another one. So when I say my father loved to, yes, continue to, thank you for the follow and continue to like. I'm at just under, I think I'm just at under 7,000. I'm trying to reach 10,000 followers by the end of the month. So not trying to, I will. So my father loved to fish. I have his flannel, but my father is a real fisherman. Like, he loved to fish. He would go hiking. He went up to Alaska and sat on some cold ice. I was like, Dad, that's what like a man does. They go sit on ice and drink beer. Cool. What a great pastime. So he did that. He would get on boats outside of Baja, California and Mexico and go and get marlin and rooster fish. And he caught one of the biggest fish. Look at this. He would be so proud. He caught this fish. Look at my dad. Suit and booty. He got his hat. Everything. He even got the socks on. But he caught this huge fish. And they would actually cut it up on the boat, and there were igloos of nitric oxide where they would immediately flash freeze it. And he would pack it either in a box or an additional suitcase. He would wrap it and pack it and bring it back to us at home. So there we go. Yeah. So my dad loved to fish, and this was like his one of his shining medals of armor when he caught this fish. I was like, that is a big fish, Dad. That's amazing. But that seems like so much fun. I don't know why I didn't go. In fact, why didn't I get the invite? So my dad loved to fish, and because of that, I had just told someone I need to fish. Because I still hike, I love a mountain, and I love a rainforest, and I love being outside. But all my dad's fishing gear, he has great fishing gear. He has some golf clubs, and I've been saying, especially being in Hawaii, to go golf. I used to go to the just driving range. I like the driving range like that, but I think it's a good time to pick up golf. Why not? I can use my dad's golf clubs, but his fishing stuff, he has lots of tackle and fishing poles, and now it's the time for me to go try out his fishing poles, because I can cast and put my bait on. I can do all of that. I will have to learn how to like fillet a fish, because my dad would do it and he was great at doing it. It was a bit messy, like doing this and getting the scales off. However, all I need to do is follow in tradition, and that's what matters. Yeah, I have all of these wonderful memories, and it's nice to have that. And on my live earlier, I was picking oranges on the live earlier because there's an orange tree in my parents' backyard. And my dad used to pick the oranges, or he would pick the most unripe oranges in the morning and make us orange juice. And I'm like, Dad, pick the ripe ones. You pick the most tart, most unripe, most pungent oranges. I know there's ripe oranges. These taste like lemons. And you'd be like, it's good, it's good. No, it's not. It's acidic, and it's gross, and it's tart. And why do you think this is good? I always thought because he was in the army guys can eat anything. My dad could eat anything. If I eat anything that's like not at health code standard temperature, I have a sensitive stomach. I have a sensitive stomach, but my dad didn't. So this morning I was picking oranges because my mom said, go outside, pick some oranges to make some orange juice. And I picked the good oranges because I learned. As I say, everything in life is about learning from the lesson. What I learned is I'm not going to pick the tart oranges like my dad. I am going to learn how to identify a ripe, sweet orange, because that torture as a child, because I would say, Dad, I'm not going to drink it. Drink it. You poured it. That's also why I don't finish my food, because I was always told, finish your food. I'm an adult. I don't have to finish my food. I would never tell my kids to finish the food. I don't want to. My stomach knows, and it doesn't want to eat. But that's how that self-doubt starts, because your body will say that's enough. But then the parent says, no, finish it. We don't waste food. It's not that I'm wasting it. My body has naturally said this is enough. But now I'm not going to trust my body because my mom says, finish it. I got to listen to her. These subtle things. But I don't have to finish my food. And I've had people say, well, why don't you finish your food? Because I don't want to. And leave my plate alone. We're adults. Why are you looking at my plate? You just got to be bold. You got to be bold in life. You got to be bold to get through life, because most people don't believe in themselves. Why would they believe in you? Why would they believe in something that you believe to be true, or a dream, or anything? And I have a compassion for that. But when you're in a space of, I'm doing this for me, it doesn't matter what you think about what I'm doing for me, because I'm doing it for me. I'm not doing it for your validation or for your attention. It's for me. In fact, the expectation is why would you like what's for me? If I'm under the understanding that everyone is really just doing what's best for them, nothing that anyone does is actually towards me. It's something in them that I bring out. Now, don't go punch people in the face. I'm not doing that. But if it's to be bold in life is to, number one, understand that most won't understand you, and that's okay. to understand. Sometimes you won't even understand some of your decisions, but trust them and truly trust them. Most people will have an opinion about a decision you make. That's to be expected. That's okay. It has nothing, your opinion of me actually has nothing to do with me. Therefore, it doesn't add to me. It doesn't take from me. It doesn't permeate. It's just there. It's neutral. But I like me, and I like my choices, and I trust my choices, and that's it. I don't look to you to affirm the choices that I make. And I make good choices. And I've also made good choices out of questionable choices. The point is to really trust your choices. And that starts with trusting yourself. Because if you don't trust yourself, it's going to be difficult to make a decision. Because you'll second guess it. Or it may bring anxiety or discomfort that you'll push it away. Or you may ask for an outside opinion because you don't trust your decision. And life is just a series of decisions. And if you don't trust your decisions, life may not be the most comfortable. Because that's all it is. Am I doing this or am I doing that? Am I eating this or am I eating that? Am I working here or am I? It's all decisions. So starting from that space of trusting your decisions, which means trusting yourself, which means understanding yourself. Give yourself some grace. Learn yourself. Spend some time with yourself. And start to ask yourself questions like, am I doing what I want to do? Am I in the relationship that I want? Do I want a relationship? What does a perfect relationship look like to me? Does that look like we talk 10 times a day and I stress out over his every move and I cry when he leaves because I think that he's going to break up with me? If that's the perfect relationship, then you got it. But if it's not, you have everything within you to change it. And I believe that is a beauty of the human element and the human soul. But you have to know what you want. If you don't know what you want, and most of the time we don't, we're just drifting along. I'm just working. Okay, so do you just want to work and come home? Is that it? Is there anything you want out of life? Do you even like this thing that you go to every day? You don't. That's why you're miserable and you take it out on people. But you have to ask yourself, what do I want? If I don't want this, what do I want? How can I do something in this day that starts the process towards it? Or just does one thing towards a change? But what do I want? Do I not want to feel good about myself, or do I want to believe in myself? And do I want to feel proud of myself? And do I want to trust myself and not second guess myself? Yes. Okay. You may have to start doing the opposite of everything you do now, because everything you do now may be the opposite. I often think sometimes to change, just do the opposite of what you're currently doing. If you're always late, leave 20 minutes earlier. Just do the complete opposite, because that is usually the only thing that needs to be done. Just do the opposite of what you're doing. If you lie to people, just do the opposite. Don't lie to them or tell them the truth and feel that. But just do the opposite of one thing today. It will start small changes, but it also just, that small change leads to larger changes. And we always have room for it. We always have the space for it. And we're able to do it when we realize the power that we have to be that change for us. And that's what's important, because you are important and you get to control you. You have responsibility and far more controlled than you think. And you have a bigger ability to adapt, because are you either going to adapt or complain? You can complain about something or you can adapt. I don't even complain. Like, all right, this is this. What do I have to do to make it in my favor or adapt to it or change to it? I'm not going to say this used to always be red. This used to always be red. This fence was always red. I accept that it's not red and go on, or I paint it red again, but I don't continue to observe what I don't want. Exactly. Ignore them mofos. Here's the other thing. Detach that notion of, I got to be by you because you are related to me. I don't subscribe to that. I love me, and I love me enough to have a standard for me and boundaries for me, regardless of your connection to me. So regardless of your status of a family member or a neighbor or a friend, if you violate my personal boundaries, you are not safe in my space, and you will not be around me, period. I don't care if you related to me or not. That's it. And I will always say this because there's sometimes a discomfort with being able to say, like, nah, that person in the family hurt me and they're crazy. A lot of them are. And that's okay. For some of you, you are them. It's not always them. Most of the time, it's you. But I don't have to be around you, and I have no qualms with that if you wear the label of family member. If you constantly steal physically from me, it's not that I don't like you. It's a character trait that you possess that does not pass my standard. That's it. It's not you. It's just a consistent character trait that you've possessed for a consistent amount of time that I'm not comfortable with. For me to have the expectation of the opposite character trait after consistency, then I'm not thinking logically. So I'd rather just not occupy the same space. And that's it. It's nothing personal. In fact, it's never personal. It's always about me. There's that. And that's what I share through my words. That's why I'm Hope is Speaking. And as I shared, I come on twice a day. I give inspirational words in the way I do. I could be an inspirational speaker. I could be a motivational speaker. I believe that a story can teach. So I've released that title. I'm a storyteller, but there's a message in every story. Sure. And Melissa, and the reverse. And because of that, it resulted in XYZ. So yeah, it's all cyclical or whatever. Yes. And so that's what I do. I come on here twice a day. As I shared, I have my TED Talk that I did in October, which was exciting. And if you go to my link in bio, it's the first box, TEDx Talk, or go to YouTube and you can put Hope, TED, Emergency Landing. I'll come up. I also have a YouTube page, Hope is Speaking YouTube, where if you don't catch me, because I just come on when I feel inclined, I upload all of my lives onto my YouTube page, Hope is Speaking, under my daily TikTok live. So I was very proud. I have 200 pieces of content onto my YouTube. And to anyone who aspires to create or is creating or just has the thought, do it. And it's all, well, at one time I was judging them. So that's why I say it's cyclical. I believe it's all a process, Melissa. And sometimes, again, it's also my perspective. It doesn't mean, my perspective is only the story I built through the information that I have. So I seek to just be in the space of compassion, because there was a time, and there probably is still a space of judgment. Subscribe to my YouTube, Hope is Speaking. I have other content. I put up content about public speaking. I put up a video, the 5 things I learned from grieving my father's death. And I'm just open to what I talk about. It's not specific, but it's great because it's me and I'm a speaker. This is what I do. And yeah, follow me here. I come on daily. I typically don't come on the weekends because I live and I detach. However, during the week I do. And I do, sure. However the person, yeah, sure. How do I avoid? I never do. So essentially, why are you comparing? What benefit comes from comparing yourself, Danielle? What benefit do you gain by comparing yourself to anything? Because it's not that I would avoid it. It's not even a thought. You have that thought. That is currently you. You have to also expand yourself. Expand the thought to understand I don't even know how to avoid, because that's not a thought for me. For me, the thought of I'm dope as hell. I'm hopeful. I compare. Why? They compare themselves to me. I don't care about what people are doing. They looking at what I'm doing. I'm not looking at anyone because I'm too busy with my life. And I like my life. I really don't need to look outside to compare it to see how it fares against someone else. My life is really cool. I do whatever I want. I have full support and a loving family. I aspire for things. I'm consistently building myself and working towards dreams and goals, and I've built a beautiful life for myself. I'm not looking anywhere else. But if that's not the case, build it so what you've built is enough. You know? As I say, it all comes back to us. The question will be, what do you gain from comparing your journey, your job, yourself to anyone else? That answer may give a little bit more insight. And from that answer, ask another question. It's really like, okay, I am comparing myself. Why? Because I don't feel good about myself. Okay, why don't I feel good about myself? Because I've always been told I wasn't enough. Okay, who told me I wasn't enough? My grandmother. Okay, is she still telling me this? No. Okay, is it true? I don't know. Okay, well, is it true? No, you're enough. You're enough. Like it's those going back. Thank you for the rose. And you're able to do it by just asking some questions. I ain't comparing. I'm the one they compare to. Thank you for liking the live, Scooey. So, in saying that, be cool. I'm the coolest mofo around, because when I say I don't care what y'all doing. I'm doing this. And it's looking good over here. All right? That's what it's looking like. I close all of my lives with, be the reflection of love, like this flame, an eternal flame. There's actually 7 eternal flames in the world. Google it when you get off this live. Google, you can go on TikTok and put 7 eternal flames. They are very cool, and it's cool. Come back to my live tomorrow and say, I went and saw the 7 eternal flames in the world, Hope. So I'll know if you did, because you'll come back and you'll tell me about it. Anyway, be the reflection of love, because we all come from an infinite source of love. Show up, because that's all it takes. All it takes is for you to show up. But if you don't show up, it'll never happen. If you don't show up for that YouTube video you want to make, or that new relationship, or taking a walk because you know this is the year where you will chisel your body into that goddess like myself, you know. But if you don't show up, it can't start. So just show up. And make it look good when you show up. I'm all for keep it sexy, you know. Keep it sexy. I don't do it if it's not sexy. Or do it in your own way. And be bold, because when you're not, you're like that italic print that no one sees. Bold people see. When I did my dad's tribute, I had to put everything in bold, because bold, it's thick, it's robust, it's there. But if you're just New Times Roman, ain't nobody gonna see you. Be bold. Stand out. Be somebody. Because you are somebody. That's what it's about. Thank you, BYOB Cosmetics. Hey, I'm gonna come check out your stuff, girl. I'm gonna check out your stuff. And the curls will be popping tomorrow. With pleasure, Scooey. Bye.